Hello, you beautiful nerds. I am Megan with Vigilante Vibes, and I am here with another character breakdown. And I'm talking about someone who is such a big deal in the X-Men world, and for all the wrong reasons. Today we're going to talk about Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 213 in October of 1986 as Shadow, but his first full appearance was in Uncanny X-Men number 221 in June of 1987. He was created by Chris Claremont and Mark Silvestri. Mr. Sinister is actually a clone of the original Nathaniel Essex, one of the 3 clones created in 1895, along with a clone of his late wife Rebecca. So a lot of clone action happening. The idea was to tackle the looming threat of machine supremacy from different angles. Like the others, Sinister believed he was the real Essex and had no memory of the original dying in Bedlam. He kept the shape-shifting powers the original Essex gained by splicing in DNA stolen from the courier. In 1899, Sinister woke up Apocalypse, which is why, and then immediately betrayed him, which, yeah. He infected Apocalypse with a techno-organic virus he'd created at Apocalypse's own request. Apocalypse survived thanks to his molecular control, so Sinister ran. But from then on, he was obsessed with engineering a mutant powerful enough to kill Apocalypse. He became fixated on Cyclops and Phoenix, who's Scott Summers and Jean Grey, whom he'd met before his transformation, and decided that a Summers Grey child would be the ultimate weapon. You X-Men 97 fans who have not read these comics, you know where we're going with this. Over the decades, Sinister carried out experiments everywhere. In 1907, one of his creations, which was a polar bear, slaughtered the wolf pack Logan was living with in Canada. Sinister later captured and experimented on Logan multiple times, vivisecting and tormenting him. Logan seemingly killed Sinister once, but of course he came back, because that's what Sinister does. He's like a disease. While working at the Ravencroft Institute, Sinister lobotomized Logan again before being exposed and leaving. He later traveled to Russia and teamed up with Grigory Rasputin, convincing him to help breed a race of superhumans. Rasputin fathered children as part of Sinister's project until his assassination. Around World War I, Sinister manipulated the Shaw family line, forcing Jacob Shaw to develop shape-shifting powers and murder his own brother. In the early 20th century, Sinister crossed paths with people like Irene Adler and even influenced Herbert Wyndham, who would become the High Evolutionary, by providing advanced genetic research. In Hollywood during the Great Depression, he hosted glamorous parties while secretly abducting and experimenting on those people, including radio star Faye Livingston, whom he imprisoned for months before he believed that she could produce mutant offspring. It's dark. It's dark stuff. During World War II, Sinister worked alongside Joseph Mengele in Nazi concentration camps, earning the nickname Nosferatu from captive children. He bribed kids with candy to collect blood samples and conducted horrific genetic experiments. He cloned Namor, tried to weaponize mutant genes, and recruited John Greycrow, who is Scalp Hunter, as his first marauder. Later, in Vietnam, he continued abducting soldiers and villagers for experimentation. Under the alias Dr. Milbury, Sinister was part of Project Blackwomb in New Mexico, where thousands of children, many mutants, were studied. He secretly encoded parts of his own psychic matrix into the DNA of children like Charles Xavier, Kane Marco, Carter Reiking, and Sebastian Shaw as a long-term backup plan. He later worked as a lecturer at Oxford, teaching genetics to young Charles Xavier and Myra Kinross, subtly interfering in their lives. Eventually, Sinister took over the State Home for Foundlings orphanage in Omaha, building a high-tech lab underneath it. There, he secretly experimented on children while posing as both the director, Mr. Pearson, and a fellow orphan named Nate. When young Scott Summers' optic blast activated during a plane crash, Sinister detected it immediately. He experimented on Scott while he was comatose and then placed him and his brother Alex in an orphanage, deliberately separating them. He created ruby quartz lenses to help Scott control his powers and carefully manipulated his entire childhood, even staging traumatic events and murdering potential adoptive parents to keep Scott isolated. Scott eventually escaped and was taken in by Professor X, but Sinister never stopped watching him or Jean Grey. After the X-Men formed, Sinister secretly collected their DNA. Unable to access Jean Grey directly, he cloned her, creating Madeline Pryor, Maddie the Baddie, the Goblin Queen. When the Phoenix Force later reignited the clone, she met Cyclops, married him, and gave birth to Nathan Summers, the powerful child Sinister had engineered all along. He continued perfecting cloning tech on his island base, Bar Sinister, filled with copies of himself. He orchestrated the Morlock massacre through his marauders, deeming the Morlocks genetically useless. He manipulated Gambit into assembling the team that carried it out. After Jean returned, Sinister tried to kill Madeline and take her child. That led to the Inferno Crisis when Madeline, as the Goblin Queen, nearly destroyed everything. Sinister was apparently killed by Cyclops' optic blast, but if you've learned anything thus far, Sinister just does not die, and it was another fake out. He later unleashed the Legacy virus, which was accidental while dealing with Strife, experimented on Threnody to track infected mutants, tangled with Cable, who is Nathan Summers grown up, sorry if that's a spoiler, and obsessed over Nate Gray, the Age of Apocalypse version of his perfect creation. Over time, Sinister repeatedly died, returned via clones and backup plans. He infiltrated Weapon X, created armies of clones, including Phoenix-powered ones, tried to capture cosmic forces, manipulated Apocalypse's rise, and even attempted to mutate the entire planet. After M-Day decimated the mutant population, Sinister became desperate to preserve mutant kind, largely for his own experiments. He hunted down the first mutant child born after, which was Hope Summers, battled the X-Men and Purifiers, and was killed off again, this time by Mystique, triggering one of his psychic backup transfers. Eventually, he resurrected himself yet again, and when Krakoa was founded by Professor X, Magneto, and Myra McTaggart, Sinister's massive mutant DNA database made him too valuable to exclude. He was granted a seat on the Quiet Council. On Krakoa, he led the Hellions, secretly harvested Iraqi DNA, built hidden clone labs, and continued scheming. Then he got his most dangerous idea yet: cloning Myra McTaggart and exploiting her mutant ability to reset timelines upon death. He built the Myra engine, allowing him to create save points in reality and retry events until he got the outcome he wanted. So life is basically like one big video game to this guy. After countless resets, Sinister succeeded in corrupting Krakoa, spreading his influence across the galaxy in one timeline, only to discover another Sinister clone had already ascended to Dominionhood first. That timeline collapsed. Back in the restored reality, Sinister was exposed and exiled to the pit on Krakoa. Even then, a fragment of him survived inside Professor X due to childhood tampering. As Krakoa fell and the Dominion threat rose, Sinister worked, reluctantly, with Xavier, Rachel Summers, and Rasputin IV to try to stop a multiversal catastrophe he'd helped create. He was killed again, resurrected again, helped stop Enigma and Orcus, and when things finally started turning around on him, he slipped away. Because if there's one constant with Mr. Sinister, it's this: he always has another clone, another backup, another plan, and he will see it to the end. So that is Mr. Sinister. He is one bad guy, a really, really bad guy. And his story is interesting. There are many layers. He's a compelling character. But, he's a bad guy just doing his thing. So that is my breakdown for Mr. Sinister. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to hear more about villains, let me know in the comments, because I always say I like doing these so much, and I'm not lying. I do love doing these. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. So yeah, please let me know in the comments what character you want to see next. Thank you to all the listeners who have been sending in their requests. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so be sure to like and subscribe, and have a marvelous day.